Good evening, Professor Emily. This is Emily Grace Doñez Alvarado. I'm your student in conversation class lessons. Today I'm going to tell you about my experience living in Lake Placid, which is a city located in New York, upstate. First of all, I'm going to start telling you how I arrived in New York City. I studied tourism, and when I finished my career, I decided to have the internship experience. That's why I traveled to New York City. As soon as I arrived, I visited all the famous spots located in New York, as the Brooklyn Bridge, the Liberty Statue, and the Times Square. When I arrived, it was cold because it was in winter. Let me tell you about my most memorable experiences that I have during my internship. As I told you, I applied to an internship and it was in a lodge. It was called the Whiteface Lodge. It's a Four Diamonds resort. So the people that worked there was not just American people. It was Russian people. You have Jamaican people, Paraguayan people, Colombian, Brazilian, also Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian people. So the cultures and the mix of them were so rich that you learn from them. It taught you about to respect other cultures, other ways to think, other ways to react. Even the jokes were different. So that's something that I remember the most. You start to reconnect with yourself and you start to teaching yourself new ways of living. That's something that I remember the most. Another experiences that I remember um, were the festivities in the United States. For example, July 4th, the Martin Luther King Day, Veterans Day. They have all these festivities and they celebrate with this love, and that's something that amazed me a lot. And I remember so much. Other thing that I also remember was the homesick. The first year that I started living in Lake Placid, I have this homesick. It is when you miss home a lot, when you miss your routine, your food, your family, your friends, and absolutely everything of your country. So once you pass through this moment, you start enjoying and finding your inner self, connecting with the new place that you're living in. I used to I went to the mountains and I used to meditate a lot in my experience. I also met Peruvian girls, Peruvian people that helped me a lot with this change of life, of lifestyle. Now I'm going to tell you about the cultural differences that I experienced on my trip. One of them was the food. And as you know, Peruvians, we eat a lot and we have one of the most delicious food in the world. So I was expecting in the lunch to have a lot of food like rice or potatoes or something really consistent. And what I had at work was just a sandwich and chips, or as you can see, a taco and chips and your soda. And I was asking everybody, like, this is a break or is this our lunch? And they said, this is our lunch. So that's something that was a shock for me. Another thing that I can mention was the shopping time. In Peru, you have these small shops, small stores near your house. I mean, 1 block away. But when I lived in Lake Placid, you have these supermarkets 6 to 10 miles away. So you have to drive to get your food. And in my first year living there, I didn't drive, so I had to buy a lot of food for 2 or 3 weeks when I went to shop. That's something that I remember the most. Another thing was the customs that they have, and I'm gonna tell you one thing that happened to me was when I arrived to the lodge, and they were explaining me everything about my job. They told me that I have every 2 hours a 15 minutes break, and I was wondering why you have this 15 minutes break. They said, well, you can do whatever you want. You can go to the bathroom or you can go and drink water, anything that you need. But when I was talking with other people that work there, I was asking again, why you have these 15 minutes every 2 hours? And they said, oh, you didn't know about the smoking break? And I was wondering what was that? And they explained to me that it was called the smoking break because you go outside to smoke. And that's something that always I used to tell people, that's something that was very different for me. Other thing were sports. As you know, we have different weathers. So in the winter, there were a lot of snow in Lake Placid, and I started to learning how to snowboard. The first time was a lot of falls, but then I learned how to snowboard. What I learned about this experience was to enjoy the present, enjoy this moment. You have to enjoy now. Um, and to believe that your dreams will become true at some point in your life. If you work on them, if you're perseverant on them, your dreams will become true. Other thing that I've learned is to share your happiness with the people that you love the most, with your family. It could be your partner, your kids. You just, my advice for you will be to enjoy you and the people that you love, and to learn from other cultures about what it works better for them, so you apply it on your life and it will helps you a lot to start a new lifestyle. It was a pleasure to tell you about this experience. I hope to see you soon, and thank you for the opportunity.